Hello and welcome everyone to my channel. This is Nova Films. My name is Ryan. This is my first official review, and for this video, we're going to be talking about Obsession and Backrooms. Before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, please. I'd greatly appreciate it. Show some love. I'm trying to build my channel up. Let's begin with this video, Obsession versus Backrooms. So first we're going to start with Obsession, which was directed by Curry Barker, stars Indy Navarrete, Michael Johnston, Megan Lawless, Andy Richer, and Cooper Tomlinson. The film follows the main character, Bear, played by Michael Johnston, who is a super reclusive guy, definitely does not get along with the ladies very well.
I thought about that, and I'm thinking, Bear's not like the ugliest guy.
He said.
He's super like into his own feelings, insecure about himself, just low confidence, like bottom of the barrel. This guy does not have confidence whatsoever. And he has this huge crush on this girl in his friend group named Nikki. And he's been trying to build the courage to ask her out and be with her, but he just doesn't. But that all fails and comes crashing down completely when one night, when he finally has the at least the attempt to try to ask her out and then be with her, he again chickens out, doesn't gain the confidence that he needs to, and actually just lays down the law with this girl and says how he actually feels. And previously, before that happened, he actually went into a crystal shop, bought a one wish willow, a little twig that you have that you basically snap, make your wish. Obviously, Bear doesn't think much of it. He thinks of it basically as just like a gag gift. And when he does fail in trying to ask Nikki out, that's basically his last resort. And he goes to take the one wish willow out, and all he says is, "I wish for Nikki Freeman to love me more than anyone in the entire world," and snap, just like that. And he doesn't think anything's gonna come of it, but immediately Nikki's entire personality completely fucking switches on like a dime, just like that. And what ends up unfolding to me is definitely the most disturbing, frightening, and just all right, just probably the most dreadful film I have ever seen, like ever. I mean, as a recent college graduate with a film and television degree, I've watched a lot of horror movies. Typically, they don't really scare me. There were some that have gotten me better, but for this film, I have to like clap it up for Curry Barker. He killed it with this film, and it's definitely one of my favorite films of 2026. It's absolutely phenomenal. Down to the casting, Indy Navarrete was phenomenal as Nikki. Michael Johnston did great. Megan Lawless, Tomlinson, who was also Curry Barker's producer and one of his best friends. I mean, he's done all the other sketches and comedy skits and YouTube short films that him and Curry have been working on for several years now. And to have them at the young age that they are, they're not that much older than me. To have Curry Barker be 26 years old and he's breaking records with a $750,000 budget film that has broken records in its returns of millions that hasn't been comparable to like literally from E.T. the extraterrestrial. That's like insane. And it's an incredibly inspiring, especially for someone like me trying to get my start up in the film industry. It's been really, really just fun to see. And it's driven me with a lot of passion and creativity. So for that, I have to just applaud the film. I mean, the cinematography alone, I mean, everything down to the music, the cinematography, the way, the acting unfolded, the deeper meanings behind the stories were just so phenomenal. And I feel like I haven't watched a film in a while that has made me feel this much dread and this much just angst and anxiety, like me anticipating what's going to happen next. And the funny thing enough is, I wouldn't categorize the movie as like super gory. There are definitely like gory parts in the movie. The car scene. That's all I'm gonna say is the fucking car scene.
Pucker up. I'm like a bird.
That was definitely the hardest I ever jumped in a theater during like a jump scare. It genuinely scared the absolute shit out of me. And the crazy thing too is just visually, the film looks so much more expensive than it actually was. I mean, for a film to have a $750,000 budget and for it to look like a $15 million movie, that's insane. I mean, I have to applaud that to the cinematography, which was done so well. I mean, the movie was captured so much in like just shadows and little light. I mean, some of the scenes where when Nikki is taken over after the entity is in her body after Bear wishes for her to be obsessed with him, and all we see is just Indy Navarrette's like silhouette in the shadows, and all we see is like they did kind of like this replicant like Blade Runner style like look to the eyes where like they kind of like reflect in the darkness, almost like a creature like or like a predator like in the darkness. That's all you see of her, and you have like the backlight of her just like very vaguely like making out her silhouette and like a little bit of the structure of her face, but mostly just covered in darkness, was so eerie and just so effective in how like just the way it captured the mood that Obsession felt to watch. Like I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I might, just because the film was so interesting to me and it had me so gripped and it really had me just emotionally invested so hard like that that I might have to see it again, even though I am definitely going to be freaked out watching it the second time. I mean, the cat scene alone when when Sarah, poor Sarah by the way, in the car scene, if you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. In the scene where Bear's eating his lunch and Nikki, as presumably the entity that's possessing her, leaves him a little green note and it says, "What's the verdict, my food critic, on cat?" And Sarah's like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And slowly the music starts to creep in, more unsettling, and then Bear has a realization on his face like, I'm eating my fucking dead cat right now. Like this crazy bitch just gave me a dead catty, and he looks down and the meat in between the bread and the sandwich. Oh my god, that was so disgusting. Overall, those are my thoughts for Obsession. I absolutely loved the film. I thought it was phenomenal, even the way it ended so tragically with pretty much everyone dying and Nikki finally coming back to her senses after being broken from the curse. And she's just stuck with everything now. She has nowhere to go. All her friends are dead. She's basically going to go to jail now because how are you going to prove that I didn't murder all my friends in a fit of like a psychotic break or something like that? So, overall, phenomenal film. It's, I'm telling you, it's definitely in the top, like, so far for 2026. We got to wait till the Odyssey comes out because I'm really excited for that film. And I got to go see Disclosure Day too with Spielberg. So, but right now, Obsession is definitely up there. For me, I'm going to give Obsession a 9.5 out of 10. That's my rating. And next up, let's talk about Backrooms. All right. So, next up, we have Backrooms, directed by Kane Parsons, 20-year-old filmmaker. If that doesn't fill you with some kind of like just filmmaking inspiration to like the highest maximum, I don't know what you're talking about or what you're even thinking. I mean, the fact that Kane Parsons was able to garner a $10 million budget with A24 in getting the Backrooms made. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I know very little about the Backrooms. I have like a vague concept of it, and then it kind of built over time. And Kane wasn't the originator of it. He kind of built the mythology on top of the Backrooms, which like caused its popularity. So that's really interesting. But the film stars Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm trying my best to pronounce that, so I'm gonna have Google pronounce it the proper way for you.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Much better than whatever the fuck I attempted at. So yeah, the film stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, Renate Rensby, Mark Duplass, Lukita Maxwell, Finn Bennett, my boy from A Night of Seven Kingdoms, Arion Brightflame. If you know, you know. Very excited for House of the Dragon Season 3, by the way. That will be more content onto the channel too. Debating on whether if I want to do reactions to it each episode or maybe do podcast reviews. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So the film follows the character of Clark and he basically has the falling out with his wife, divorced. He is going to his therapy sessions and he's running this failing furniture store. And he soon discovers that in the basement, there's a portal that he enters into where he is in the back rooms, just literally a maze of office spaces that have like no end that will drive you insane. And there's definitely like entities and monsters and demons hunting you in there at like every corner. I will say, just off the bat, for me, I just enjoyed Obsession better as a narrative structured film. And I thought overall it was scarier, but Backrooms really had me fucked up in the head. I'm not going to lie. As I was watching it, I was so like, it was disturbing. I loved the art design of the film. It had such like almost like a, because it takes place in the 90s, it has like almost like a 90s Truman Show feel. Like everything is very almost minimalistic to like a purpose, obviously, because like the Backrooms itself is minimalistic. So it was interesting to kind of see the dichotomy with the outside world as opposed to the inside of the Backrooms and how the two worlds kind of collide in that way. But it's obviously there's something like almost like an uncanny valley feel inside of the Backrooms, which I found really, really interesting. I think for me, just the art direction, the production of the film, even like the camera work and everything was really, really well done in Backroom. For me, narratively, I think it was as strong as Obsession. I don't. I did enjoy the film a lot. I think the acting overall was really good. I was a little bit iffy on the therapist character. I did find some of her acting to be a little hammy at some parts. I mean, eventually she just it's like almost 8 minutes straight of her doing like, I guess you would call it like horror ASMR, where she's just breathing heavily and you just like, it's almost like in your ear, just like she has to really exaggerate how scared she is. And I get it, like being in that situation, yeah, you'd be scared. But after a while, it just, I don't know, it just felt very hammy, kind of just cheesy to me. Some parts she was fine though, and I've heard that she's a very revered actress, and she does really really good in other stuff. But I have not seen that. I'm gonna have to maybe form like a full opinion on her after I see more of her films. But I really wanted more out of the out of Clark, the owner of the furniture store. His employees, one of whom is played by Finn Bennett, who is on and I had the same Kingdoms, who plays Arion Brightflame. I really wanted more of him, and the actress who plays his girlfriend in the film. I thought they both kind of brought a little bit of a different energy to the film that I really wanted to see more of. And the fact that they were like essentially the first ones who got killed and were off, I was a little upset at it. And I really wanted more of them in the film. I will say both Obsession and Backrooms, they both had me thinking very deeply. Like even after watching it and just like being obsessed with it, even like having trouble sleeping a little bit. I will say with Obsession, I did have more trouble sleeping, I would say for like almost 2 nights straight, which is fucking rare for me. With Backrooms, it was maybe like the first night I saw it in the theaters, I was having a little bit of trouble sleeping, but then afterwards I was fine. So I would definitely say I enjoyed Obsession more, but I really enjoyed Backrooms though. Like I said, I did have some more flaws with Backrooms. I did feel like after a while of seeing like the same kind of liminal yellow walls of the office spaces of the Backrooms, although it was haunting and hypnotizing at the same time, I feel like after a while it kind of gets a little bit repetitive and a little bit, I feel like it drags a little bit on. And I like slow burn, but after kind of seeing like similar layouts but a little bit different, it kind of got a little, just a little tiring, I'm not gonna lie. My favorite shot actually was when Clark grabbed the VHS camera after Finn Bennett's character Bobby was taken by an entity, and he's running to try to get his girlfriend, Bobby's girlfriend back, Kat, and he's going through all these doorways and you're going into all these different new environments. There's like a bathroom stand. They give me like very much like Mall World vibe. If you don't know Mall World, go on TikTok, look it up. You'll go down a fucking rabbit hole for like almost 2 hours, like I did once, which would not recommend it. But yeah, going into like a pool setting, or just like even like I think there was like a library room, like all that, that was so interesting to me, and I wanted to see much more of that than kind of like the vaguely similar like tracking shots of us going through somewhat similar environments. I wanted more of it, because at first it was creepy, and the art direction and the way the cinematography was done of showing off the backroom set was phenomenal. It was just after a while I feel like we could have just done something a little bit different to kind of like keep like the engagement a little more alive with backrooms. So for me, my rating, I am going to give Backrooms, let's give it a 7.5 out of 10. Both enjoyed the films greatly, but I just enjoyed Obsession more. Obsession's going to be like top for me. Backrooms is still a mind fuck though. I mean, that whole third act where the dinner table scene with Clark and his therapist and him reenacting the last argument he had with his wife after Clark has basically lost his fucking marbles. I mean, that was such like a David Lynch kind of like vibe of a scene that alone was just like oof. And it does leave me wanting for more. I definitely do want to see like a Backrooms part two, and I think they've teased at it. I think I've seen a couple interviews with Kane Parson, if he was like teasing at it or if it's not fully confirmed, but I am bought into this world and I do want to know more about it, and I do definitely want to see a movie about it. So I will give it that I am still intrigued. All right, guys, that is my video on Obsession versus Backrooms. For me, Obsession won out. I do enjoy both the films, but for that, Obsession does win in the versus round. Thank you again for watching my video, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.